Now, how about them damn Celtics?
We are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Monday, January 12th. The Pacers and Celtics play tonight, which you will hear about in this episode. Obviously, we haven't really had time to do a full pod in a while, but we're back, ready to go. How you doing, Sam?
Doing good. Excited to have a full pod. Feel bad for the listeners, but I mean, we still deliver in the post-game stuff. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people come for that, but make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe. We are here every day with new stuff. Full pods typically do drop Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. We have game recaps more after each game like this one, and then other videos here in between to keep you up to date with everything Celtics. We will talk about the game, as Jack said. We'll look at your recent emails if we even have any. We'll go around the NBA standings and take a look because it's been a while since we've done that. We'll talk about a couple different individuals around the league who, for different reasons, might be a little bit cooked. And then we'll do the rat list and get out of here. It should be fun. Stick around, subscribe, the whole nine. But yeah, without further ado, Celtics Pacers, hopefully tremendous game. Good thing we did such a good full pod today because no one's going to watch this now.
Exactly.
That can actually just be the intro because we've already.
Celtics, we're here after the Pacers game. Surprise. Yeah. So Celtics lost to Pacers, the really bad Pacers, but to their credit, have been a lot better. League worst Pacers, who are now on a 3-game win streak. So if there was ever a time to lose the Pacers, I guess it's when they are finally figuring it out. But rough loss, 96-98 loss of the Pacers. No Jaylen Brown for the Celtics, as some context. But a bad loss nonetheless. I was at a men's league game for a lot of this, so I really didn't get to watch as much as I usually do, unfortunately. So apologies in advance, but Sam's got you covered and will inform me and you at the same time. I've got the box score, obviously. Pritchard put up 23. He had Derek game, a good Neemias game from what it looks like. Again, apologies for me, but they ran 30 minutes late. Halftime went for 15 minutes for some reason. And then go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, Celtics Pacers. I think this is the third time the Celtics played without Jaylen this season, and it's the first time that they actually lost in a Jaylen-less game. So pretty good. 66% win without your best guy who's backpacking the team for the most part, but really, really disappointing loss, to be honest with you. Like, this game looked like it was going to go one way and it completely flipped on its head halfway through. I'm trying to pull up the Celtics stats Twitter account because I can really tell you box score by quarter type stuff because the Pacers did not start this game well. The Pacers were 40% from the field, 1 of 6 from 3 in the first quarter. They only scored 19 points. Like, for the Celtics to hold a team below 19 points is a good tone setter, and it's a defensive win, regardless of who you're playing against. Like, in the NBA nowadays, that's just very rare. The Celtics did an okay job of capitalizing. They turned the ball over 4 times in the first quarter, which is not good, but they scored 24 of their own. And then it got worse. Then the Pacers came out in the second quarter and decided they weren't going to miss any more shots. They shot 7 of 9 from 3 in the second quarter, and it just completely flipped the game. Like, Anthony Simons did everything he could. He was out there, like, to tie this into everything we're going to talk about later on this pod on the rat list. This is the character dying at the end of the film or the series, like, to show that there is weight. Like, this guy gave you everything and it just wasn't enough. He had 12 second quarter points as Indiana was lighting the floor on fire, and the Celtics went into halftime with a 3-point lead. Now it really gets worse. They come out of the half. They go 4.5 minutes without scoring. A Neemias dunk finally breaks the glass on the rim. And, like, up until about, I don't know, probably the 5-minute mark in the third quarter, they're still just inept. Like, this was the prime reminder of how important Jaylen is to this team because they turned the ball over when they didn't miss shots. It was one or the other. That was it. Like, that was what you were getting. Meanwhile, the Pacers were looking more and more confident. They got the lead to 13 at one point, and to Boston's credit, like, they fought back really fast. By the time the fourth quarter was coming around, what was it? Two-point game. So, like, if you didn't watch this game and you just looked quarter by quarter in the box score, you would be like, oh, like, I guess it was a little momentum swing. So, like, in my opinion, that just tells you, like, that's the difference between a good and a bad team. The bad team does not capitalize when they have everything going their way, the way the Pacers did, and they didn't close the quarter well enough, and the Celtics had a real chance to win this game. But watching the fourth quarter, and this is where you watched it too, like it just did not feel like they were ever going to win this game. They couldn't get over the hump. Like they didn't have the firepower without Jalen. Nobody had it going enough to where I believed that they would do enough to get it across. Like Pritchard had a nice third quarter. He had a hot stretch, right? But beyond that, especially in the fourth, like even Simons, who was good in the second, he had 4 points outside of the second quarter. 2 of them were in the first, so he only had 2 in the second half. Nobody gave the Celtics reliable offense in this game really at all. Like everyone had like little stretches, but nobody was there the whole time. And ultimately, they didn't have enough to get across the finish line against Indy, who played very well today. I mean, Siakam, 66%, Jay Huff, unbelievable game for him. Those 2 guys were really the driving force behind this. And then they shoot 43% from 3 too. Like that's a hard team to beat, but they still are the Pacers. They're still one of the worst teams in the NBA this season. And even without Jaylen Brown, this is just a really tough loss to swallow. Felt like it was going to be the game to get them back in the win column. On the pregame today, it was Nick, Gio, and I having a nice chat. And I was probably like more down on it than everybody else, but I was just like, I don't know. This last week just put a sour taste in my mouth. Like it was 4 teams. Every single team had something wrong with them. Like the Bulls are just ass. Who was next? Oh, Denver was out without Jokic. Toronto didn't have Scotty or Ingram. And then Wemby was on a minutes restriction in the Spurs game, so much so that I wasn't even certain that he was going to come back in the game in the fourth quarter when they took him out. Like these were games you're supposed to win. Like even this, you're supposed to win this game. And instead, now you're looking at a 2-game losing streak. You're 6-4 in your last 10. And the distance between you and the top of the conference is growing, and the play-in is 3 games away. That is the distance between Boston and Cleveland as we record this now. So we can go like guy by guy now if you'd like, but just a frustrating watch.
I mean, like I said, I unfortunately didn't get a huge chance to watch a lot of this game, but I think what you said is probably the biggest takeaway is you need Jaylen Brown. Like we talked about this before the season even started. If you're missing any one of your top 3 guys, Steph is going to get very shaky. And I think it's a good thing that you have so many guys to the point where you are as talented as you are with and without Jaylen Brown. But the reason Derek White and Payton Pritchard and, these guys aren't max players is because they're not Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, right? Like there's levels to this. I love Derek White. I think Derek White is unbelievably underrated. And I think defensively, he's one of the best players in the league. He's not a every night give you 25 and 8 offensive player that he would need to be a consistent all-star. If Derek White could give you 25 and 8 efficiently every night, he'd be an all-star every year. Like that's just how it is, right? If Payton Pritchard could do that, he'd be an all-star every year. They're not, and they're elite players. They're elite. Like Derek White's a great second option. Payton Pritchard's a great second option. They're elite third and fourth options, like some of the best in the league, and that's why the Celtics won a championship a couple years ago. But you can count on them to give you, option 1 stuff, and you'll have a chance to win, but you also have a chance to lose. And that's kind of what happened against the Pacers, who, to your point and what you said, Siakam missed 5 shots. He was unbelievably efficient. Jay Huff had 20, right? Like they had guys who played well, and Jay Huff made 4 threes, and Jarris Walker made 3 threes. Like that's crazy. I think that's how it is. I also think, like, as frustrating as this week has been, they lost 3 games to start the season. Like I like this team was hot, and I do think they are. I think the reality is closer to what we saw from them during the hot stretch than their cold stretches, but they're not in a like elite team for a reason, right? They're not on a 60-win pace for a reason. They're worse than they were last year. Like that's just kind of how it is. They have less talent, and I think you can be a really good basketball team without as much talent. Like I do think there's parts of it where this team's play style is more fun to watch because they hustle harder, they play harder on a night-to-night basis, and they're in every single game they play for the most part. Like I said this a couple nights ago, the last game they weren't really in was the Rockets game, right? Like they're in all of these. It's just you don't have the talent to depend, like when you're missing your top guy or when you're not having the best night. In the last 2 years, you can just say, oh, like they're still going to win. They still pulled it out because they've got Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Kristaps, Al Horford. That's not the case with this team. And a large part of it is that they're younger and they did lose that talent. And that's kind of how it is, and it's going to be tough on a night-to-night basis. But that's just the reality of having not as much talent. But before we continue and I let you go again, I do want to tell you guys about Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action this basketball season, this football season, as the playoffs are getting going. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and Prize Picks lets you take control. There's a new feature on Prize Picks, which is early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. You can also find your community on Prize Picks with a new social feeds feature. You can share your Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Picks partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Anyways, I'll let you continue on.
Yeah, I mean, individually, like there were some bright spots. Like Nemi had an efficient game. It didn't feel like he was overly impactful though. Like he was out there when things weren't going well for them, and that a lot of that was to start the third quarter when like it wasn't necessarily his fault that they weren't scoring the basketball. But 15 and 8 is pretty good production from him. Like he is not the one that you're looking at to be like, damn man, 3 turnovers for him as the big man is tough though. I don't vividly remember any of them, so that's a good thing. Usually when something's really bad like that, it's burned into my brain. But I don't know. The Celtics don't have superstar role player, like whoever it was throughout the first couple months of the season. They don't have that right now. Like they don't have none of Baylor, Walsh, Ugo, we'll throw Garza in there, is playing at like a 2 times to 3 times the expected as they were for a little bit there. Right. And so when that's the case, you can look at every single one of those guys and be that like they were solid today, because they were. Like Walsh in particular was very good. He had 6 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals in this game, and he got some key steals for what it's worth when they were kind of reeling towards the end of this game, which has been a problem for them over the last week, is they can't get across the finish line in these games. He had at least 1 steal. I think he might have had 2 in that stretch. The NBA.com box score is just telling me there's no box score data available, so big shout out to them for that.
I can take a look.
The very end of the game, like the last 3 minutes or so. I'm trying to pull up
steal. Walsh got. I just have 1 steal at the 2:24 mark in the last few minutes. It could have been a case where he like didn't get credited for the steal. Like
okay,
he could have like made a tip or something. Like the Celtics in those last couple minutes, they had a steal at 2:24, and then that's it. So maybe it was like, I don't know when the other play would have been. I don't remember specifically, but box score only has 1 steal at the 2:24 mark.
Okay. Well, anyways, he looked more like the guy that we had seen in early December, in late November. And that's a positive, because ever since he got sick, it was like he's on the milk carton. Like, where is he? Because we miss him. And hopefully going forward, he's able to deliver more on a consistent basis. Like, there was the game, I think it was in Sacramento, that he got moved to the bench and then had a double-double and then has disappeared since then. So the consistency isn't there for him just yet. And it's frustrating because it's the controllable things that he's not been consistent with, like rebounding and just getting to the spots and defending and making an impact that way, which I know Missoula would tell you that it's a hot and cold thing, just like shooting is, but I don't know. You hope that a guy like that can change the game more consistently than he has lately. So there's that. But I mean, Pritchard looked pretty close to what you would want from him in a situation like this. He's definitely not to blame for the loss. Only he didn't turn the ball over at all, despite being the guy in this game. 23 and 8 on 45% from the field and 43 from deep is pretty much all you can ask, with a couple of steals. Like, he didn't give you big buckets at the – well, he had the catch and shoot 3, actually. I don't want to discredit that. He had the one where they hit Walsh underneath. Walsh got blitzed by 2 Pacers, and they left Pritchard on the 3-point line. Yeah. Like, great catch and shoot from him. But besides that, I don't remember a ton of fourth quarter action from him. Granted, he had the monster close to the third, so he probably needed a breather at the beginning of the fourth, and it was the Derek show more than
I do have
Payton.
a question about Pritchard. Because I mean, it could have applied to this game. It could have not have. Before this game, the last few games, I had been noticing Pritchard getting cooked on defense a lot more, unfortunately. Like, it just felt like he hasn't been quite as there defensively. And I don't even think it's his fault. I think teams are just starting to pick on his height a little bit more. And again, I don't know if that was the case for the majority of this game. It just feels like he is getting, even if it's not like posting him up, like they're just shooting over him, right? He's not, the closeouts just aren't as effective when it's Payton Pritchard because he is smaller. So it's something to
I don't have a
for,
great answer for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Just something I've been noticing before this game.
Like, for what it's worth, none of this doesn't mean anything because of the way basketball works now. But like, Nembhard had a rough game. Like, he wasn't Nembhard of like playoff games, right? Like, TJ McConnell wasn't overly impactful off the bench scoring wise. He had a couple nice buckets early in the fourth quarter, but beyond that, it was nothing crazy. So like, none of the guys that Pritchard would be matched up with were going off, but who's to say that he wasn't consistently being put in switches? I didn't notice it. I'm bad at noticing defensive stuff at times.
It's not like crazy. Like I don't think he's like a detriment to the team. I've just noticed more teams like for example, like if a team sees Pritchard as the corner help guy, maybe they go to that side instead because they know they can get a better shot because his closeout won't be as effective.
Yeah, I think he was fine in this, for what it's worth. Like, I didn't notice anything that I was like he was out of place. There were some possessions in the second half where the Celtics looked scrambled on defense when Ugo was on the floor. It actually felt like Ugo was a little lost in his matchups at times. That might not have been his fault. It might have been somebody else, but he was the one that was kind of scrambling around. So I don't think it was the best Ugo showing today. Derek was fine. He was inefficient shooting, which they could have used better output from him on 21 shots, but he defended well and he got beat on the last possession for Siakam's basket, but that's kind of what's going to happen to him when he's matched up with a stronger big guy. Like, I didn't expect him to get a stop there, to be completely honest with you. And to Boston's credit, they made it really hard on Pascal. Like, he had to bank it in, which I don't think he was trying to do.
Yeah. Tough loss. I don't think I'm necessarily worried about anything because of the last week. I do think it's notable. Also, excuse me, noteworthy Neemi played 30 plus minutes. I think that's a good sign moving forward. Maybe he's starting to ramp up a little bit. I just think
I actually wish we saw more Garza.
Really? Was it bad?
Well, it wasn't bad, but Garza was like, he was out there when things were going well. Like, when the Celtics fought back into this game in the third quarter, he was out there. And he wasn't doing crazy Garza things. He did have 3 offensive rebounds. One of them was his own miss. So he only grabbed 2 more for the rest of the game. And that one off his own miss was early on. But I just feel like he's creating things out there. His screening is actually important. And now that we're all talking about it, I'm looking for it when I'm watching these games. And you can see like, he laid out Neesmith. Like, he hit stick Neesmith on the screen. And it worked out for the Celtics on that possession. Like, I think he brings a good energy that Neemi doesn't always bring. It doesn't mean that Neemi's not impactful. If you look at the box score today, Neemi was a great benefit to the Celtics. Like, he gave them a great output for the starting center. He was not getting cooked. It was nothing like that. And Garza is not more of a stud defensively than Neemi is. That's for sure. But something about having somebody out there that is just busting their ass almost puts pressure on everybody else to do the same thing, which is why I think the Anthony, Ugo, and Garza lineup, if you go to the 3-man lineups on NBA.com, is so impactful because Ugo and Garza are just supercharged like crackheads on the basketball court at times.
Simons runs around really well too.
And Simons kind of plays off of him. Simons has really been coming into his own. He had a couple rebounds in this game. He's moving the ball better. Like, I would have liked to see him keep it going after getting hot, but he didn't really have it in the second half, which was tough. Hauser was cold shooting today, but it wasn't quite a what does he do game because he was very active on the glass, and it was noticeable how active he was on those crashes. So he deserves some credit there. Tough follow-up for Baylor after his impressive showing against the Spurs. Pretty much, like, not completely Snell numbers, but a little Snell number-ish. He had some good drives, though, in this game, which is where he scored his only points, was getting to the free throw line. he looks like he knows what he's doing when he has the ball, which is good for a guy who doesn't play a lot. But it was not the game you would have hoped to get when it came out that he was starting today, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. You're hoping for something more. To be honest, I think this group, Shireman, Walsh, Ugo, Minot, I think it's just going to be a game-to-game thing. Like, I think Joe said at the start of the year, and that motherfucker was right. It is. Whoever's got it that night is going to play 25 minutes. Whoever isn't is not going to play 25 minutes. And, yeah, that's what it is. And I think it's tough and or frustrating to live with that when you see what the peak of Jordan Walsh can be and you see what the peak of Ugo can be and Minot and Shireman and the same thing. But, like, again, like what I said with Derek White not being Jalen, like there's a reason these guys aren't every night players. Like they're not consistent. And that's something you get as you play more. And these guys are all young. So I think it'll be fun. And you go from there. But do you want to look at, we got 2 emails since we recorded earlier. Do you want to do
Yeah,
those
we
now
should
quickly?
pull them up. Yeah, I was
Okay.
actually going to suggest that. I'm happy that you said
Perfect.
it. As you pull them up, I do want
Yes.
to point out the Celtics in this game literally won the margins too. Like that's what sucks. They shot 4 more shots than the Pacers. They did not make more threes. They lost the 3-point battle by 7 threes. So that's tough. And they shot less threes, but they won the battle on the glass. They had 6 more rebounds than the Pacers. They controlled the glass. They only gave up 5 offensive rebounds. One of them came at like the worst time because Siakam got a tip in late in that game to give them a 5-point lead again, which is why I literally went and looked at this because I was like, was this a problem all night? I didn't notice it. I sure hope I would have noticed that. They turned it over one more time. So, like, not the best marginal performance, but Missoula would look at the raw stats of that and be like, not bad, could have been better, but I doubt that he's like rip shit pissed that they lost.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, he's probably going to be mad anyways because it's the Pacers, I guess. But listen, if there's any guy to get a team back on track, I trust Joe Mazzulla based on the track record he has. So, okay, emails. We got 2. I'm going to start with the most recent one because it's specific to the Pacers game. Then we have an email from Paolo about a trade stuff, which we'll also talk about. RJ says, panic attack? Nah, just another Monday in January evening, folks. The Celtics played an exciting game in Indy, minus Jaylen Brown. Lose by 2 and still have the 3 seed in the East. Pacers won on shooting variance and the Celtics not taking it to the rim more in the closing moments. So Joe will do some teaching in South Beach and life will continue no matter what Celtics social media will want to stress about in the next 48 hours. Solid contributions from Pritchard, Walsh, and Queta. Hauser and Derek did what they could defensively, even though the shots weren't falling from range. Everyone take a breath and be well. RJ, who really wishes Peacock had more than 3 ads to run during the timeout.
Watched on cable. What a win for me. I didn't even think about that. Like, Celtics don't play until Thursday. You just gotta sit and think about it.
People are just gonna stew, yeah.
When I was like fully in like fan mode, I hated loss like that. I hated it. If you're not going to play for a couple days, you have an obligation to win.
Yeah,
you cannot leave us all feeling dejected and like wondering, like, man, is the season over? These guys suck now. Like, it's very inconsiderate of them to do it like this. But I mean, RJ's right. Like, you got solid games from all the guys he listed. I thought Derek could have been better, but aside from that, like, it was nice to see a little bit of like Walsh might be
even Hauser
here again. No, Hauser, what does he do? But
all right.
He tried on the glass, but he missed a lot of open shots, and it's just frustrating. Like,
I get it.
It will never not be frustrating to me when a guy like that is missing shots. When like he's getting the shots he's supposed to get. Like, I don't know. When I play basketball, I get mad at myself when I miss any shot. So
yeah. That's just the life of a 3-point shooter, unfortunately. Like, you're gonna inevitably have games like this because like Steph Curry. Let me see. Steph Curry this season has had 13 games where he shot 33% or below, and that's the greatest shooter of all time. Yeah. And that's what, a third of his season. So it's gonna happen.
He shoots 3 of 7 instead of 2 of 7. They win.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's the game. And he shoots 38% or 42% instead of.
I think he deserves credit for not like letting nights like this impact him though seriously, because not only like does he bounce back, but like to have 8 rebounds in a game like this, like for Sam Hauser, that is him like having to bust his ass because he's not often inside already, so he has to crash on both ends of the floor in order to make an impact on the glass. Like it's not his job. It's his job, but it's not his job. You know what I'm saying?
He is in a little bit of a good night, bad night from 3. 5 of 7, 2 of 8, 3 of 7,
That's
2
when
of
it's
6,
annoying.
5 of 7, 2 of 7. It is very back and forth right now. I mean, I'd rather that than slump. But you'd always rather heater, but that's why variance matters. But thank you, RJ, for the email. Second email. Paolo, trade for Zubac. Hi guys. I tried this trade on Spot Track and it works. Celtics get Zubac, Kobe Brown, and Brook Lopez. Zubats, I should say. Clippers get Simons and Queta. My opinion is there should be more advantageous offers for the Clippers out there, but this one would still bring a good center shooting and shot creation. Gone with the underestimated loss of Powell and a couple of not so juicy, but still firsts. Again, not sure the Clippers would do it. What do you think, Chow, Paolo? Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll start. From a Clippers perspective, and thinking about what they would like to do this season, I actually think this makes a little sense for them because they're still trying to compete. Like, they're not selling. They're not trying to just offload players at the deadline. That's not their goal. It's been heavily reported that it's not their goal. So taking back Queta in this kind of gives them something they can be like, okay, like this is a placeholder guy. He's not Zubac, but he can still be a decent low usage offensive player. Through the first half of the season with Boston, he was a solid starter. Like, they could feel good about putting him out there and probably playing next to Harden. It's a lot easier for him to score, right? Like, the Celtics don't really look for Neemias on the roll a lot. And if he was playing with Harden, he would get a lot of easy baskets. Like, playing next to Harden in LA would probably actually be really good for Neemias. And we'd all be looking at the trade, be like, damn, they lost the trade. I think from Boston's perspective, getting both Zubac and Lopez back in this is also not bad because Lopez has been good for the Clippers at times. Like, ever since they started winning games, they have leaned into Brook Lopez more. He's not Brook Lopez of old, but he doesn't stink either. Like, he would give you an interesting look off the bench if you used him that way, or if he was a starter, he would be solid. But if you're trading for Zubac and giving up Queta, you're probably planning to start him. So you're probably bringing him off the bench, takes minutes away from Garza, which sucks for him. And Lopez and Garza are probably going to give you similar things. So that's the one thing where it's like, if you're going to have an extra big guy, you want him to be a different look than what you already have in this situation. I don't know if Boston would do this. I also don't know if the return would be enough for the Clippers unless you're giving them draft picks in this too, because it's been reported that they are interested in draft picks. But I'm also just kind of out on trading Simons at this point. Well, maybe in this situation, depending on who's involved, but like the general idea
in the right deal, I think it's okay.
Like,
but
get rid of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't do this deal at all. I think this is a bad trade for the Celtics. Zubats is great. I think you get 70% of the production of Zubats from Neemias Queta, and then Luka Garza at least runs around a lot, set screens. Like, you can't convince me Brook Lopez is running around like Luka Garza runs around right now at 36. Like, he can't play within the scope of the Celtics defense. Kobe Brown's I don't think can be counted in this. So you're basically trading Zubats for Queta straight up for a 20% upgrade for a major downgrade because Simons is playing very impactful basketball for two guys who probably wouldn't play a lot on the night-to-night basis. So, like, I don't think this is worth it unless they're giving you like one of their future picks. And even then, I still wouldn't do it. Like, I just think you're giving up too much talent in this trade. I think Simons has played himself into he should have positive value for the Celtics, and if they don't get positive value back, they shouldn't trade him. And Neemias Queta not only is playing really good right now, much better than Brook Lopez, and better, like close enough to Garza where you can't warrant it. I think Garza's, or to Zubats, I should say, I think Garza's playing better than Lopez this season in terms of how he can impact the Celtics. And on top of that, Brook Lopez makes $8.7 million this year and has a team option for next year for 9.1, where Neemias has a team option next year for 2.6. It's just, I just don't think it makes a ton of sense. I would keep Simons. I would keep Queta and try to re-sign Simons this summer if this is the best offer.
It does feel like it defeats the purpose if you're getting rid of Neemias. Like, the whole point would be like, so your team's deeper in the front court, and like Neemias as a starter is fine, but if he's coming off the bench, it's probably like the best version of having him in your rotation where you have a reliable backup rather than like your starter is solid. If that makes it's like when, it's like Luke Cornett. Like you wouldn't want Luke to be your starter, like an ideal world. It doesn't mean he can't do it, and it doesn't mean you can't win games with him doing it. But if you can have a all defensive level center start over him and then have him come off the bench as the backup, that makes you feel so much more solid. Like, I don't know. Just look at the last couple of Celtics teams. Like the depth in the front court was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my thoughts. Any other thoughts before we throw it to the rest of the show?
Yeah, bad fourth quarter again from the Celtics, only 19 points.
Yeah. It just really feels like they struggle to get things going without Jalen. And obviously, but he has one of the highest usage rates in NBA history for a reason. Like he needs, like I see people point that out on Twitter, like, look at this fraud. They need him to do that. Like, what? How are you guys interpreting that as a bad thing? They're like,
I don't know how that equates to fraud.
They're like pointing it out, like, oh, he's not that effective, not that efficient, and highest usage rate ball hog. I'm like,
he's super efficient. That's the whole story. He's shooting like
the advanced
from the advanced.
Sorry, I misspoke.
His year.
I misspoke. The advanced analytics don't like him. Like he's like a negative defensively, and like they're better with him off the court.
I'm technically, stupid, so I don't really understand that.
It's a silly way to look at things. He has that usage rate because the Celtics need him to organize things on a nightly basis, and his sheer gravity impacts the floor.
29.5 on 49.5, 37.6, and 77.9 from the free throw line, which might be his career high. The turnovers are bad. Turnovers are too many, right? Mm-hmm. Aside from that, like everything's a career high, like in a good way. What do you want out of him?
It is a career high from the line.
Take care of the ball.
Career high from the line on the most attempts he's ever taken. So, what do you?
Which is also a important thing to point out. Like getting to the free throw line more is a skill, and it's a benefit, and it's what separates some of the best in this game from just like the good players.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And for what it's worth, he's only averaging like 0.7 more turnovers per game than his like all NBA second team season in the 22-23 year. So it's not even that ridiculous. His usage rate is up a lot too. So shout out Jalen. I think the Celtics will be fine. It is what it is. We'll throw it over to the rest of the show right now. All right, we're back from Celtics Pacers. We do not have any emails this time. We went over all of them in one episode that we didn't get any extra since then. So let's jump right into the NBA standings. So let's check out the standing. It's actually been a while this time around since we checked the NBA standing. So I'll pull it up here and we can take a look at where the Eastern Conference first sits currently. I don't think it's that much different, at least at the top. Pistons, still number one in the Eastern Conference, although 6-4 in their last 10. They are losing a little bit of ground. Knicks in second, only a half game ahead of the Celtics. Knicks are 5-5 in the last 10. Celtics still 7-3 despite their loss to the Spurs and Nuggets. Raptors, Sixers, Magic rounding out the top six. You got the Cavs, Heat, Hawks, Bulls in the play-in. And the Bucks, Hornets, Nets, Wizards, Pacers down at the bottom. A little bit of a gap forming there, but yeah.
It is crazy. The Celtics feel like they're kind of falling off a little bit. Like they weren't great in the homestand this week, in my opinion, and yet they still have tied with Toronto for the best record in the last 10 games in the conference. So it speaks a lot to what they've done lately. They have the best point differential in the conference still. They are not out of it, but at the same time, like they don't have a ton of room between them and the play-in still. Like they're actually closer to the play-in than they are first place, even though it doesn't really feel that way with how they've played. Toronto and Philly had an awesome game last night, went down to the wire in overtime. So both those teams are kind of firing at a nice level right now too. But the bottom of the East is the bottom of the East. The Pacers, winners of 2 straight before the Celtics game after being on like a 14-13 game losing streak before that. It's kind of funny, though. The rest of the bottom of the East is finding their footing a little bit. They don't look like they're completely lost. And everybody's just mid. That's what this tells you. Literally, everybody is just 6-4, 5-5, 4-6 for the most part, with the exception of the Celtics, the Raptors, and then the Pacers, who are exceptionally bad.
Yeah, Pacers who got hot just in time to play the Celtics, which I currently don't know the result of, but you do as you're listening to this. The rest of the East is just like you said, mid. Yeah, Celtics 3 games out of the play-in, but 4 games out of first place. So it's about even. I mean, it will literally swing on a night-to-night basis based on who plays and if the Celtics play. So that's fine. The Raptors have escaped and the Cavs have taken their place. It really just is the play-in squad here. The Heat, Hawks, Bulls, like haven't they been in like every play-in since its inception? And then
some of the great teams,
right?
Actually,
have the Bulls missed a play-in?
No,
I don't think they have. I think they've been in every play-in.
When was the first play-in?
Was it immediately the play-in?
The bubble? The Celtics were in the first one. It was in 2021. I think in 2021 they actually were the
1920.
Milwaukee.
1920 was the first play-in. So, like,
well, 1920 was like the bubble. So, like, they kind of had a play-in, but it wasn't the same play-in. They made the play-in because the bubble play-in was so cool or whatever.
Yes. Okay. Did the Bulls didn't play in that, did they?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, this isn't telling me. Yeah, the Bulls weren't in the bubble, so they didn't play in that. So then 2021 would have been their first chance. 2021 play-in tournament. The Bulls were not. Okay. They escaped the allegations. The Bulls were not in the first ever play-in tournament. They are recent additions. The first ever play-in tournament was Celtics, Wizards, Hornets, Pacers. So actually, none of these teams that I am slandering for being play-in merchants. However, I bet if
then they have been
move
there
forward,
no matter what.
Yes, Bulls weren't in the second one either. Okay, hold up. Let me stop shitting on the Bulls. The Hawks were though, so the Hawks might be the real play-in merchants. I don't know who was in the third one. Okay. This is when the Bulls. This is okay. Yeah, 2023 was Bulls, Raptors, Heat, Hawks. So literally bar for bar, what I thought it might have been.
Yeah,
and then it was Bulls, Heat, Hawks, 76ers, and then last year it was Hawks, Heat, Bulls, Magic. So I'll give myself some credit. There is some consistency to those guys being the handshake play-in teams, but we've seen some rotating in and out. So credit to them. And the credit for the Raptors for escaping the play-in hell. Yeah. Western Conference. Celtics have the third best point differential in the NBA, by the way, which is kind of ridiculous. OKC Thunder still atop the West. Spurs were 5-5 in their last 10. 5.5 games back of them, but in second. Then you got the Nuggets, Wolves, Lakers, Suns who are on a heater right now, 1-3 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10. They're playing great. Rockets have fallen out of the playoff picture, which is crazy. They've lost 3 in a row. Then you've got the Warriors, Blazers, Grizzlies in the play-in. The Clippers, though, who are red hot, are only a game and a half out of the play-in. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Mavs, Jazz, Kings, Pelicans, rounding out the bottom. Clippers are hot. They're going to get in, and man, Jordan Ott is coming for Joe Mazzulla's Coach of the Year, genuinely, which is really fun. It's going to be a fun race.
Yeah. Shout out to the Clippers for digging themselves out of what seemed to be a grave that was too deep. They're almost there. Game and a half back of Memphis. They're just skyrocketing up 8-2. They're the best, tied with Phoenix in the last 10 in the whole conference, really in the whole NBA in their last 10 games. And it feels like they have a real chance to keep climbing like this. Well, I would say maybe climb up to 8. Like beyond 8 is a little bit too steep. There's an 8-game difference between them and Houston. That's a lot to ask, but there's a lot of season left. So, but climbing up the standings gets a lot harder as you get higher up the standings because the teams you're trying to pass are no longer losing. 1, maybe on purpose, but 2, a lot. Right. So after that point, we'll have to see. But the Western Conference is just so much better than the East. Like you look down the list of these teams, record-wise, they're not. But when you look at like these teams and like, would I be afraid to see them? it becomes a lot more yeses than the East.
My point that I was going to make was Clippers could be Western Conference merchants, though, because it would be a lot harder for them to make the play into the East, considering the Grizzlies are 5 games below 500 in the play-in. So if the Clippers
there's a drop off.
There is a significant drop off, and it just happens to be a place before, because like in the East, the Grizzlies and the Bucks have the same record, and the Bucks are a game and a half out of the play, and the Grizzlies are in it. So like there's a difference there, and I'm not saying the Bulls are some world beater, but they are much closer to 500 than the Grizzlies are.
The Bulls stink.
The Bulls are ass.
They're awful.
The Bulls are ass. The Western Conference is objectively more talented. You are correct. I was just making a joke, but yeah, man.
Lakers.
How about
negative
down here?
Point differential.
Lakers.
Feels like every year we do this.
Did they have one last year?
Yeah, or at least they were like the worst of all of the playoff teams. Like the Lakers last year.
VAR? Yeah, 1.2. Still positive, but a 1.2.
They were just so mediocre, and like they somehow ended up winning 50 games. It just feels like that's exactly what we're seeing again this season, where they're not really that good. They don't feel like they're that good, but yet here they are just kind of, oh man, when they missed the playoffs, that was incredible, wasn't it?
I'm just looking to see when the last time they had like a really good point differential was. 2.7.
They won the title.
2.7 in the 21 season is pretty good. Excuse me. That's
even in the title year, they weren't that crazy.
5.8. That's pretty good. 5.8 would be what this year? Third, fourth, fifth. It'd be fifth.
Yeah. So where they are.
Yeah. Well, fifth in the NBA, third in the West.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. Dude, the Kings are an embarrassment to basketball. I'm sorry.
They just beat the Rockets.
I don't care.
Did you see that they did a social video? Every team, maybe not every team, but teams are starting to feel like they have to do something when they win games now. The Kings did Light the Beam a couple years ago, and it was really cool because they were really bad and they had nothing. The Rockets do this thing now when they win a game. A player pushes a button to do a launch or lift off, and then they have smoke come out of the Jumbotron as if it's a rocket ship blasting off.
Okay.
So they did a video of KD doing that last week, and then the Kings beat them yesterday, and they edited it to make him light the beam.
Okay. Now, the Kings should be sent to the G League, I think. And you may be saying, Jack, why should they be sent to the G League? They don't even have the worst record in basketball. They actually have the third worst. The Kings are losing by more than the Raptors or the Wizards. The Kings are losing more on average per game than the Wizards. And we sat here on this show looking at this exact screen saying, oh my God, how are the Wizards losing by that much? They're that bad. And the Wizards have an excuse. The Wizards are trying to be bad. I do not think the Kings were trying to be bad. I think the Kings have been trying to win for the past 3 years. They are just so unfathomably bad at putting together a good roster that they traded Tyrese Halliburton, they traded De'Aaron Fox, and now they are looking for a point guard again because they built the Bulls 2.0 with a worse fitting roster. How do you build the Bulls and then somehow be worse at building the Bulls? Like that's what impresses me about the Kings. You're like, okay, you see DeRozan and Levine, you go, okay, let's do that. But instead of a floor spacing center, we're going to get Sabonis, who I really like. You just put him in like about the worst possible situation you could possibly put Domantas Sabonis in because he doesn't have a point guard. He doesn't have adequate floor spacing. And he's got two guys next to him that need the ball if they want to be even close to like a 500 level good. And then you've got those two guys. It's just like impressively stupid. Like everyone who works in that front office should be blacklisted from getting another job at the NBA.
Well, the best part about all of this is 2-3 years ago, the Kings were the three seed in the NBA. Like they were, or in the West. And then they were actually good.
Shit themselves.
And then they fired Mike Brown. They traded De'Aaron Fox for effectively. They traded him for Zach LaVine. I think they might have got some draft compensation in that too, at least a little bit, where it's not completely bewildering that they would do that. But getting Zach LaVine and the De'Aaron Fox trade is not good. Like that's not a good enough return. But at the same time, like if they did get decent draft
Kings
picks,
actually got a lot of draft picks.
Okay.
They got 3 firsts and 3 seconds. I don't know the protections on those firsts. I'm suspicious of how legitimate they are, so I'm going to do a VAR because one of them is the Hornets first. There's just no way that's a real first. So I need to, while you talk, I'm going to VAR to see if we're super mad at the Kings or just a little bit.
The Kings also, like, when you look at the league's worst teams, right? In the West, let's cut it off. Let's exclude the Clippers because the Clippers are clearly trying to win games right now, and they're effectively doing that. The Mavericks, Jazz, and Pelicans all have some sort of direction. Yes, the Pelicans are kind of ridiculous in their own right, where they traded their first-round pick this year, but they got Derek Queen, who's playing really well for them. They have some young players. They have good role players on decent contracts that they could either keep or trade, and the Zion piece of this is all very strange. The Kings have no direction. The Jazz have good young players, and they could tank and get something. The Mavericks have Cooper Flag, and they have different pieces around Cooper Flag that they could look to move to bring in more young pieces or hope that Anthony Davis eventually gets healthy, which we'll talk about, and Kyrie is able to help them when he gets back. Then when you go to the East, the Pacers are going to get a top 3 pick or top 4 pick and get Halliburton back next year with a team that went to the finals. You have the Wizards, who have a lot of young players. They just traded for Trae Young, who isn't necessarily a winning player, but if they handle it right, could end up being something for them in this context. The Nets are somehow better than expected every season under Jordy Fernandez. So he's a good coach. They have something going there. They've found something in Michael Porter Jr. Like, they've made him an effective basketball player. He's scoring efficiently. The team isn't winning a lot of games, but they just don't have a lot of talent. Charlotte is finding something in Knipple and Brandon Miller. The LaMelo part of that is the problem. And then above that, like, Milwaukee is like the next one where you're like, I really don't know what they're going to be doing. So the Kings and Milwaukee Bucks, I guess you could loop Memphis in there too, because the whole Ja thing is happening, are the teams that you just have no idea what's coming for them. You have no idea what the direction is. You have no idea what they're looking to do. You have no idea how they get off any of the contracts that are bad. Like, nobody wants Zach LaVine. I don't think a lot of teams are going to want Sabonis for the money he's on. And then if you go to Milwaukee, outside of Giannis, there's no player on that team you would want to trade for that's making significant money. So they're just kind of stuck. And from that point on, it's really difficult to find the way out of this mud for those teams, even though Sacramento has all the picks.
Okay. VAR concluded. I've done my check. Ass. I don't exactly know what happened. So Kings in this De'Aaron Fox trade got a 2025 first round pick via the Hornets. Now, that's fraudulent because I don't know where it went, because obviously the Hornets drafted Con Knipple.
Well, that draft already happened.
Yeah, at pick 4. So that already happened. I don't know what that pick turned into, but the Kings only made one first round selection, and they traded another one of the firsts they got in the De'Aaron Fox trade to get it. The 3 firsts they got were a 25 pick via the Hornets, a 27 pick via the Spurs, and 2031 pick via the Timberwolves. 2031 via the Timberwolves, real. They have the Wolves 2031 pick. Not terrible, although Ant is probably just going to be good till 2031, so it doesn't matter. They have the Spurs 2027 first round pick, as they had that, and they had the Bulls 25. I don't know what happened to the Hornets 25. Excuse me, the Hornets 25.
I'm guessing.
I don't know what happened.
I'm looking now. And this would be terrible if this is the case. I'm guessing that the Charlotte pick was protected and it didn't convey, so it became 2 seconds, because they have a Charlotte second in 2026 and a Charlotte second in 2027. If that's the case, really bad. But if it was lottery protected, turning into 2 seconds, like, I don't know. If you're banking on the first round pick being out of the lottery, it's not like the worst consolation to get 2 second rounders, because they're non-guaranteed contracts, and maybe you hit, maybe you don't. You're not like tied to that money.
Okay, so yes, it turned into seconds. It did in fact turn into second rounders. So fake first. L. 2031 Wolves first, real. 2027 Spurs first, also real. However, the Kings traded it. Top.
Well, no, they have it.
No.
They have it in the lottery. I'm
telling you, they traded it. The 27 Spurs pick, the Kings got it and then traded it for Neat Clifford, who they drafted this year. They traded it and kept it protected top 16 for the 27 draft, which they'll probably be top 16, so it won't matter, or else it turns in to 2 seconds. Do you want to guess where they traded it, Sam?
The Spurs?
No.
Are going to be
the
in
Spurs,
the lottery?
The Spurs sent. Oh, you're right. The Spurs won't be in the lottery, so they're going to lose it. So it's top 16.
Yes.
Would you like to know where they traded that first round pick?
Probably San Antonio.
Yep. No. Who did the Kings flip San Antonio's pick to? If you had to pick one team that doesn't need any more picks, so it's
the Thunder
trading with them. Yeah, they traded it to the Thunder. They traded the pick to the Thunder, so the Thunder will have the Spurs pick next year.
They also have the 2031 Spurs pick, which I'm guessing is not going to be that great, but it looks like it's unprotected.
Who, the Thunder?
The Kings.
They do?
Yes. I'm on Spot Track in the trade machine, just looking at
They have a swap, yeah. They have a swap in 2031, yeah. Okay. They got the swap in. Okay, yeah, no.
They have three. They don't have first
it
in that draft.
So they don't have it. It's a swap. Wait, who has swap best though? The Spurs can exercise the swap, Sam. The Kings don't have that. The Spurs can swap with the Kings in 2031. So they're really just shitting all over themselves. So I tell you what happened. The Kings traded for Harrison Barnes. They traded a swap in 2031 for Harrison Barnes. And then Harrison Barnes ended up back on the Spurs. I think, right? Wait, unless... Well, yeah, I'm looking at it here.
This is really bad for the listeners. I'm sorry.
I'm looking at it here. The Spurs traded Chris Duarte and Harrison Barnes. Listen, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking at. This says Spurs may or may not exercise swap option. Spurs have option to swap 2031 first round pick with the Kings. That is exactly what I'm reading, bar for bar. Confirmed for the audio listeners. That is exactly what I'm reading. Like the Spurs have the option to swap the pick. 100%.
That's not good.
Oh, here we go. This is it. You see it right here? It was the DeRozan trade. The Kings traded Chris Duarte, Harrison Barnes, that pick for DeMar DeRozan.
You know what this is telling me? That the Spurs see these fucking suckers and they're like, let's do any trade that we possibly can with the Kings. Like, that is what this chart tells me. Because they are involved with the Kings at every opportunity that they possibly can be involved with.
It couldn't have been the DeRozan trade, though, because they got DeRozan from the Bulls. So I don't know what it is, but the Spurs somehow have the right to swap with the Kings. And I don't even know. I know the Kings gave up something silly in the DeRozan trade. I don't know what it is or how it happened, but I'm pretty sure they gave up some sort of pick in the DeRozan thing.
This is greatly upsetting.
It was a 3-team thing, I think, because I'm looking at similar assets. I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter.
Bottom line,
I don't care.
Kings horrible, no direction, sad franchise, going to continue to be sad. To be honest with you, like, I think if they got relocated, nobody would miss them. Like, it wouldn't be like the Sonics where people are like, man, it feels so bad for Sonics fans. Like, if you moved the Kings, like, people would be like, you did those people of Sacramento a favor. Like, you freed them from this hell that they're in. Like, this is terrible. How is
it's
this
bad?
How has this team been bad for like 20 years?
It's brutal. Okay. Anyways, after those 20 minutes on mostly the Kings, let's talk about Ja Morant. Because the Grizzlies I don't think we've even talked about the Grizzlies supposedly being interested in trading Ja Morant. So that's happening per Shams. The newest update from Mark Stein is that they're looking for a first round pick for Ja Morant. And I have bad news for the Grizzlies. I don't think you're going to get a first round pick for Ja Morant. I think if Trae Young's trade value was that bad, and this is what I've seen a lot of people point out, Ja Morant's probably isn't much better because they've both been spectacularly bad this season.
Awful. Just the thing about Ja is he's not as young as you think. Like, Ja got drafted 7 years ago now, which is crazy. He was in the Zion draft. That was before COVID. Kyrie was still on the Celtics going into that lottery. Like, the things that have changed since then are more substantial. Like, everyone in their head is like, Ja's still a young, talented player and this and that. The reality is he has just not really been able to be on the court over the past 3 or 4 years, whether it be due to injuries, due to having no self-control on an Instagram live, being like, man, I really want to show everybody this cool gun that I have. Like, and now he just kind of seems like he's miserable. And I get being upset when the team's losing and things of that matter, but when you're kind of part of the problem, his numbers haven't been good this year. Like, you can't like completely what is the word? Like, remove him from the blame. Like, what is it called when someone gets cleared of the charges in court?
No, I was supposed to say indicted. That's the exact
That's
opposite.
the opposite. Yeah. Well, you can't clear him of the acquit. Yeah, you can't acquit him of all of the blame. Like, this season, Ja's averaging the lowest points since his sophomore season. No, since his rookie season. He's shooting 40% from the field. He's shooting 21, rounding up, by the way, 20.8, 21% from three. What does he do? Like I throw that around a lot now, but like, for a guy who's on a near max contract, if not the max, Memphis probably gave him the max because they have to, because they're Memphis. What does he actually do for your team? And if you're trying to trade for him, that's when you start to look at the salary caps and the financials in this, and you're like, this is a disgusting contract. I think you should actually have to pay me to take him off your hands. That's how terrible this is.
Now, my question to you is, do you think there is a team out there who could want Ja Morant?
The only team is the slobbering Milwaukee Bucks that have no self-control when it comes, like, they are just perpetually being put into, like, I don't know what it's called, but, like, you know, the thing, like, they used to publicly humiliate people with, like, way back in the day in medieval times,
you put the arms and the head through.
Like, they just keep putting themselves in that in order to hope Giannis stays. And anytime a point guard maybe becomes available, like, they're like, well, what if we went and got this guy? So when you look at Ja,
called
like,
a pillory.
A pillory. Okay, they're in the perpetual pillory with Giannis, where they feel like they have to do everything to try and appease him, and he's part of the problem because he's the meme of the guy on the balcony. Like, maybe I'm gonna jump, maybe I'm gonna drink the bleach, like, maybe I want to leave the Bucks, and they really don't have any outs, so they feel like they're completely boxed in here, and they don't have draft picks. They have their own pick this season, which is not tradable. Oh, never mind. They don't have it. It's in a complicated swap. Please,
the Bucks don't have their pick till 2031.
Okay,
I know that for sure. Yeah.
So they're in that position. So they don't even feel like they can punt here and be like, okay, we're just going to be bad, because they literally get nothing out of it. So yeah, like, if you think of teams that would want Ja Morant, like, that's one. Maybe, like, we've kind of, like, danced around it on this show before Trae Young got traded. Like, you could do, like, the lunch table meme of all the people passing the different, like, drinks across the table where it looks like it's moving perfectly with, like, the different bad contract guys. So, like, maybe Ja goes to the Kings and Zach LaVine goes to the Hornets and LaMelo goes to the Grizzlies. Like, all of these ass players just get traded in a circle, like a Yankee swap or whatever. And other than that, like, I'm looking, did somebody report the Clippers were interested in him? Like, I guess that would be on brand for them. Just like another slobbering team that has nothing going for it.
Dude, when you said the slobbering Bucks, that might be the hardest I've laughed.
I mean, they are. They're just sitting there drooling on themselves. Like, Giannis is there, and, like, he's playing with Kyle Kuzma. Like, the Milwaukee Bucks last season went, man, Giannis needs some help. Give us Kuzma. Which, like, we really can't laugh that hard at, because he had his, like, best game ever against the Celtics a month ago. But, like, they traded Chris Middleton, who let me see what Chris Middleton's doing for the Wizards this year. I'm sure they're not giving him a ton of opportunity to actually be on the floor. But Yeah, Chris Middleton this year, 9 points a game on 42% from the field and 28 from three. So that was just chalk. Like, it was a lose-lose trade. Nobody really won there.
What about for I'm going back to the Ja stuff. What about like the Nets? Like, would they be desperate enough? Actually, but then they just drafted like 7 point guards in the first round. So why would you add?
That's the problem. I actually don't even hate where the Nets are anymore. Like, I think
No,
the
they're
Nets
fine.
are kind of like lucking into, or maybe not even lucking into, but like their plan is kind of finally coming into fruition where they don't have any massive contracts on the books. Their biggest
They're gonna trade
contract is
MPJ.
the MPJ contract is this year and next year, and he makes $40 million next year. If you're the Nets, I mean, I guess trade him if you can. Like, people keep linking him to the Pistons because, like, if you trade him for Tobias or the Warriors, like, it's not that hard to make the money work in either of those situations. But if I'm the Nets, like, I kind of like what I have in him. Like, I'm not even sure I want to trade him. Maybe you can get him to come back after this. Like, okay, if you're Brooklyn next year, you're not really going to be trying to compete, right? Like, they're not, simply not, or they could be a play-in team at the best.
Yeah, that's my thing.
If he stays these 2 seasons and then you want to gear up to be competitive, maybe you can get him to come back on something a little bit more team friendly. But like, I think he's been legitimately effective for the Nets this year.
He's been great.
It's burned into my brain because he had that awesome game against the Celtics. He's averaging 25, 7, 3 on 49 and 39, 7.
He's great. No, he's been awesome this year. But by the time the Nets are competitive, like before looking at anything else, Sam, if you had to give me a genuine timeline in terms of years until the Nets are like contending for a playoff spot, what is your timeline? 2 years, 3 years, and that's on like the lighter side. They're not
so
like
here. Let me pull up the actual Nets like statistics this year so I can tell you what
they're really bad.
Oh, I just want to see if there's any hope. No, not really. I thought Jaeger Yemen was like playing a little bit better. Well, he's not playing terrible for a rookie, but he's not
fine.
really distributing the ball as much as I would like. They have like okay players on this team. They have okay, so I'm going to go through the expirings. Cam Thomas expiring, Haywood Highsmith expiring. That's it. But Tyrese Martin expiring. Jalen Wilson expiring.
Unless they make a massive signing to partner with MPJ, and you discount the fact, Cam Thomas is average because he's played in 15 games. Noah Clowney's their second leading scorer. That team, I'm sorry, I like Noah Clowney a lot. That team's not making the playoffs for at least 2 or 3 seasons. MPJ is 27. You're talking about bringing him back and having a 30-year-old MPJ, like being a role player. Like, I don't know. If I'm them, I'm trading him for younger pieces that I can take a bigger swing on and draft picks. Like, you can probably get Kuminga from the Warriors. I don't love Kuminga. Probably a better big swing piece than MPJ. And you can get like a 28, 29 Warriors pick. Sign me up. Sign me up right away for one of those future Warriors picks. Right? Or you trade them to the slobbering Bucks, as you said, who desperately need floor spacing. Try to scam them out of a pick. Something like that, right? As far as the Ja stuff, if we're circling back, we just talked 20 minutes about the Kings. They are the exact type of team who would say, let's go get a star power name because we want a point guard. I would bet you a lot of money that the Kings end up trading for Ja Morant. Like, I would genuinely like bet you a good chunk of my bank account that the Kings are the team that trades for Ja Morant. I don't know what the third team would be because I don't think the Grizzlies necessarily want many of the pieces in there. Maybe it is the Bucks. Maybe it's like, hey, we'll take whatever we can get. Like, if I open up here, let's do an exercise here. Let me also change it to the NBA section because we haven't done that in a long time. If I open up the trade machine here, right, and I say, okay, Memphis, you send Ja to the Kings, right? Zach LaVine goes out to the Bucks because they're as desperate as you say they are, which I agree with you. Kuzma could go back to God, this is already getting disgusting. Kuzma
they draw
go
straws.
Out there. I know. Memphis could get like Kevin or something if they probably have to give up actual value. Or maybe they don't. Maybe I lied. Maybe Kevin Porter Jr. doesn't have to go out. But like I just don't know what else it would be. Like Bobby Portis, I guess. Right? So they don't have to take on the LaVine contract. And then what would I need? Who makes too much money? The Bucks. The Bucks are still getting too much. So you send out like, I don't know, fucking Gary Harris to Sacramento on a minimum so they don't have to deal with it. And then So if the Kings and the Bucks throw silly draft picks at the Grizzlies, like let's say the Bucks give that one up and then the Kings in their I like ridiculousness, throw up like a first. The Grizzlies end up with Kuzma, Bobby Portis, and 2 firsts for John Morant. The Bucks get Zach LaVine. The Kings get John Morant. Like, are all these teams ridiculous enough to do this? Right? Like, I don't think this is an impossible trade. And for what it's worth, I do think Zach LaVine would help the Bucks. Like, I think he would be like, if there is ever a place for Zach LaVine, it is playing next to a Giannis, right? So I don't think it's good for the Bucks because I think Zach LaVine is not amazing, but I think he's better than Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis, right? And if your goal is to desperately keep Giannis in town, would you give up a first and Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis? I would. I don't know about you.
I feel like if I'm Giannis and like this trade comes across my desk, this is what my reaction would be. Stand by, it's coming.
Oh, you got. Do not let him in.
Like that's all I can think of. Like they just keep like bringing the new floor to Giannis, being like, here's your new assistant. He's got a hunchback, he's missing a tooth, and he averages a lot of points per game, but he hasn't made the playoffs since 2021.
Oh man.
Like Giannis actually just announces his retirement.
And the Bucks are stuck with the Zach LaVine contract.
He's just had it.
Okay. Anyways, next thing is Anthony Davis is hurt again. He can't stay healthy. He strained or a ligament damage in his left hand. He could miss months. Listen, I would sit here and laugh at the Mavericks. It doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't matter. They have Cooper Flag. Ryan Nembhard looks great. Like they will be just fine. Like, but before the Cooper Flag stuff, it's like, oh my God, this sucks, and it still sucks because they were actually playing pretty good basketball with Anthony Davis. At least you got Coop, right? Like you got something going for you now. So, whatever.
The Anthony Davis,
but they do have to trade him, so that's a mess.
Yeah, but Anthony Davis doesn't want to be traded, and like it almost feels like when this injury pops up here, like a month before the trade deadline, a hand ligament injury. I don't know what it's like to try and play through that. So if you're playing basketball, you need both your hands to work. So I can pretty much like understand the need to miss time. But I feel like as Jaylen Brown told it, I mean, maybe that's fresh in my mind at the podium this week. Jay King was asking Jaylen about his left hand and Jaylen talking a little bit about the different hangups he's had with ligaments in his wrist. Remember, he missed the playoffs in 2021 because he had to have surgery on that wrist. I almost wonder if there's like he could play through this, but is electing to get surgery because he doesn't want to be traded part of it. But on the screen now is just a list of different things that Anthony Davis has had go wrong with him in the last year since being traded for Luka. February 7th, 2025, ab injury. February 8th, adductor injury. March 25th, thigh injury. March 28th, groin injury. April 1st, groin injury. April 3rd, adductor injury, which is basically just the groin. Like everything I'm about to say, the entire month of April, he's battling this adductor groin. He has an Achilles thing that isn't a tear, but it's like alarming on October 28th, which is the opening week of the NBA season. Leg injury, calf injuries for the past month. He got sick, another groin injury on Christmas in 2025. Now he has this. Like the list of different injuries he has had flare up since joining Dallas. Not to mention he kind of got fat. That too. Like that was a real thing going into the season. And not listed is the eye thing that his like optic nerve or what is the thing in the back of your eye?
I have no idea.
The literal like cable that your eye is hooked up to like was fucked up for him too. Like something it's like how did you detached retina is what it was. He had to deal with over the summer. So like
yikes.
You could not have gotten in or out of the Luka business for like a worse return. It feels like.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
Like
Max
they got
Christie
lucky with Cooper Flag, right? Like
they did.
Cooper Flag was not part of the trade. The draft pick, if the draft pick was part of the trade, then you could be like, whatever. that was all circumstantial, like extreme
luck.
luck, NBA rigged, whatever you would like to chalk it up to. That was not guaranteed when they got rid of Luka.
No, they got lucky. They got very lucky, but I don't know what they're going to do because you can't really trade him now, right? Like no one's going to trade for that asset.
The Sacramento Kings have entered the chat. They busted in like Kramer. They're like, you know what's sad?
You know what's sad? Let me double check something here. I want to see how long is Anthony Davis under contract for?
3 seasons.
Okay, never mind.
And he wants an extension.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, Anthony Davis for Zach LaVine. Who says no?
Probably the Kings. The whole appeal of the LaVine contract is that it expires.
LaVine contract expires this season?
I think he has one more year, but like you're almost there. You've almost escaped the haunted house.
Okay, Anthony Davis for Domantas Sabonis. Who says no? If I'm the Kings, I say no still. I think Sabonis has some value to someone. I don't know who's trading for Anthony Davis anymore.
I think the Kings talk themselves into it, honestly.
And you know what? I think the Mavericks would be a better basketball team. On a consistent
I actually
basis.
think they both might get better. The problem is Davis is healthy.
If Davis is healthy, the Mavericks are better with him than Sabonis, but he's just not healthy enough to do that.
It doesn't. Have we seen him play like consistent basketball for the last time? Probably.
Probably. Which sucks, but it's bad. Okay. Ratless, Sam. What do you got?
So my perpetual rat list, not perpetual, like my recent rat list, I don't know. I actually don't think this has made it to the air. No, it has on the pregame streams. It has. Has been the amount of I Heart Drake May shirts at TD Garden getting on the Jumbotron and getting more attention than like, I don't know, like people can't get it. This is more about just the, I don't even know what to call it. It is the general audience at TD Garden caring more about that and getting more excited about that than the actual game. Like in the fourth quarter of Saturday's loss to the Spurs, like instead of putting it's the fourth quarter, let's go video on the Jumbotron, they just kept showing people in Drake May shirts and the crowd was getting fired up. But like they didn't care. The worst one was the guy that had the Jason Tatum jersey and taped May over Tatum and put a 1 next to the 0. Like that was terrible. That was very upsetting. And of course the Patriots won yesterday. By the way, I don't know how anyone watches the NFL. What a boring league. That game was awful. 2 playoff teams. The Patriots felt like they got a Make-A-Wish touchdown at the end. Like that, they were struggling to get in the end zone the whole game. They were playing Missoula ball on both ends, only shooting threes. Disgusting game. College, much better product. I have no idea how anyone likes the NFL. But regardless, they advance and they go back to the bakery for another cupcake game. They get to play the ass. Aaron Rodgers is the NFL equivalent of like Westbrook playing still, or the Texans. Like just cakewalk. When will they play anybody real? The Patriots.
I thought we determined the Chargers were a real football team.
I wasn't really involved in that. That was between you guys. I don't have the intel to tell you whether or not the Chargers.
Hey man,
I'll tell you what. The Chargers do not look like a real football team.
Hey man,
Justin
I watched
Herbert,
the game.
what does he do?
I had fun watching the game. Defense played great. I mean, the D-line got a ton of pressure. They were murdering Justin Herbert all night. Got some 4th down stops. That was fun. Drake May ran for had to have been almost 100 yards. He just was running everywhere.
He had a crazy scramble before halftime. That was like 50 yards to put them in field goal range.
Go Pats. Shout out. Well, like you said, we'll get a easier than a lot of teams get matchup. I will say, though, like, the whole AFC is kind of like that. Like, realistically, I just think the NFC is more talented right now. Like, the Bills would be a tough game, obviously, because Josh Allen is great. I think the Broncos are fraudulent. I don't think they're as good as their record. I think the Texans and the Steelers are both mid, like you said. I think the Chargers are fine, but mid. Like, I just think, like, you got to wait till the Super Bowl till an AFC team plays
an NFC team. But at that point, it's one game, so anything can happen. But go Pats! Excited, good win. That was fun. And I'm trying to think of what my rat list is. Michaela has been on my ass for the past.
I have
like,
a
2
rat
weeks.
list for you.
Michaela
this one.
has been like she's like, "Where's the fucking rat list?" She's like mad that we haven't done a full podcast because she always listens to this and we haven't had time to do it, and so this is it for her. What do you think my rat list should be? You said you had one for
the Red
me.
Sox.
Ugh.
Should I play the Uncut Gems clip again? Oh, this fucking guy.
Those fucking losers, man. Oh my god. They're turning into the Kings of the MLB. It's so bad, but they're not. They're like the Mavericks. They like can't get their shit together, but at least they have really good young players. That's what the Red Sox are. Like Roman Anthony's great. Marcelo Meyer's great. You still got Christian.
They're the Bulls of the MLB.
No, they're better.
They're fine with being like mid.
Yeah, but at least they have a pathway to a like pretty good. Like Roman Anthony's elite. Like they have one of the best, up and coming players in baseball. Their pitching staff is really good. They have Garrett Crochet. They have Peyton Tolley and Clean.
Yeah, they have
and early
the Bulls,
right? Like they have objectively talented
behave like
pieces.
they're the Bulls.
Correct. Yeah, they act like they're. We don't want to spend. We're probably not going to be that good. When like everyone's like, guys, if you just like, even if like the bar was the floor, even if you just retained Bregman, all you had to do was re-sign him. Like you would have been fine. And they couldn't do that.
What a kick in the dick that was Saturday after watching the Celtics vomit on their shoes in the last 2 minutes of the game. Then you go in the press room and you open your Twitter and it's like Bregman's not going to be on the team anymore.
Chicago was up that night. The Bears came back and shit stomped the Packers out of existence too. I will say though, it is like the Red Sox just can't figure it out. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter being like, "Oh my god, the Devers trade was stupid now because he got mad because you signed a third baseman and wanted him to move, but then you didn't even retain the third baseman." My thing about that is, and listen, I like Devers when he was here. If you're gonna act like Devers did, I don't love the fit in any organization anyways. Like I think he kind of acted like a big fucking baby. That's my, I don't know if that's a hot take, but if you're going to be like that when the team asks you to do something, fuck off. I think you're a big baby. Like I think that's stupid. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to go check the stats. I don't think he was good in San Francisco. Yeah, ever batted 236.
They were bad too.
Exactly. So listen, man, that trade is whatever, but fucking re-sign your players, man. Please. You need that. That's what you needed, and you fucked it up. Useless, terrible organization. I can't stand them. I'm still gonna watch, unfortunately, but Jesus Christ, give me a break.
I wouldn't even watch. They make you pay extra to watch. I can't even watch.
I know. I like being a fan. I like being a fan of something though, because like I do
too.
Yeah, so I'm in on the Red Sox. Unfortunately, Roman Anthony's still nasty. You got him for a full season this year. You still got Meyer. You still got the GOAT, Connor Wong. He'll be Connor Wong, who had like 2 RBIs the whole season. That's impressive. Do you know how impressive that is to have 2 RBIs the entire year?
He had
That's
more than that, right? I'm pulling it up.
He was a great defensive catcher. Don't get me wrong.
Who doesn't love
sorry.
a great defensive catcher?
Sorry, my bad. He had 7. He had 7.
Single-digit RBIs. What can you do?
Single-digit RBIs in 168 plate appearances.
Baseball is a fascinating sport. I want a rat list. So I am not somebody who, first of all, will do a spoiler warning just in case. I don't even think I'm going to talk about details, but I'm not somebody who's been online for the past 12 days complaining about the end of Stranger Things. Like I thought it was fine, but like that's a show that deserved better than fine to finish the season, or the series rather. Like 5th season comes out, a lot of people are underwhelmed by it. There are a lot of things like if you're interested, you can like go on Reddit and see all the things people complain about, like inconsistencies in the plot, things that didn't really make sense, yada yada yada, right? Stranger Things is so up its own ass that they did a Netflix documentary on the making of the final season, and they shouldn't have done it. It came out. The creators are just getting roasted. Like, people that watched it were saying that they said that they started filming the first episode without a script for the final episode. Like, they didn't know how it was going to end. Bad. Somebody sniped a frame from the documentary, and you could see them on the browser. And there's a tab open to Chat GPT. They were like, no way did they have AI helping them try and write this. Like, I don't have all of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the documentary has made them look like horribly bad in this. And it is what it is. Like, I enjoyed the ending, I guess. Like, it was a nice final episode, but like it didn't meet the standard for the show, is what I'll say.
So I didn't watch past the first season, but I've discovered this new website that has been entertaining me, and it basically compiles the ratings of every episode of a TV series into a chart. And it sounds like people really did not like the last couple episodes.
Well, the 5.7 one. Now we can get into some spoilers.
Sure.
So, people online.
Spoiler alert.
The reason why this episode is a 5.7 is people online, some people, not everybody, not me, were mad that they spent like 6 minutes of the episode. There might be more to it to this, but a lot of people gave it bad reviews because one of the characters comes out as gay and there's a coming out scene. So the people that are anti that went on. But like, it did not feel, the episode itself did not feel like the second to last episode. Like, it didn't feel like
it just
things
felt like
were
another
about
episode.
to go down. Yes, it didn't feel special.
I know Danny's biggest complaint, and again, spoiler alert, I haven't watched anything, is that nobody died. That was his biggest complaint. He's like, how do you have this big thing and not a single like big character dies? Like, you know, in Harry Potter, they kill off like
whoa.
Yeah,
I'm trying to watch these.
Oh yeah. I forgot you were actually watching Harry Potter. I was about to go on this whole thing like, well, if you haven't seen Harry Potter, but you actually haven't seen Harry Potter.
I'm like getting there. I'm halfway through.
Okay, my bad. That was a great whoa from you, because I was about to spoil something. Okay, never mind.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
For those who have watched Harry Potter, please do not comment anything about it. You know, like in a lot of big TV shows, they kill a lot of big people. And
I understand that.
Yeah. I love this website though. Like, there's a funny one. This is the one I saw on the internet. You know, are you familiar with Top Gear? So they had Top Gear. It's a British TV show, but then they got rid of the British people, and you can just see exactly when they got rid of the British people. It goes from like all 8s and 9s to a 2.2.
Oh
dude, I love this thing, because then there's like I'm trying to think of some other, like there was a bunch of other shows that had like ridiculous fall offs, or just like one terrible, like SpongeBob. SpongeBob is all mid.
SpongeBob one,
but then they have one like 9.8 episode.
They have some good ones in the most recent season. They have a 9.3.
SpongeBob's back. Yeah.
I feel like SpongeBob isn't meant to be good. It's just meant, like, it also is like there is some correlation here when they started asking them to do 64 episodes.
Yeah,
like
for sure. We had a million episode seasons. It falls off a little bit. What other TV shows are like this? Like, I know. Are you familiar with Lazy Town?
These are slop children's TV.
Look, but like,
why is there a 9.8 in here?
That's the point. It was the have you seen the Lazy Town song where it's like, we are number one? It's this.
Okay.
Banger song. But yeah.
How did Lazy Town stick the landing better than Stranger Things?
they hit.
They got cooking in the last season. They didn't have AI yet to write it for them.
I love perusing here though, because like Game of Thrones, obviously everyone is fucking hated the last little bit.
At least Stranger Things wasn't Game of Thrones. Because Game of Thrones only did 6 episodes for the final season, so you can't even be like they really had to work themselves too hard or whatever. Like, ironically, using SpongeBob as the example, but like, you know, you can see why the content would not be as crisp if you're having to do a lot more of it. But Yeah, I didn't watch Game of Thrones, and like that bad ending keeps me from wanting to really get invested in it, even though like at the time people really enjoyed it.
I haven't seen it either, but I mean, I want to watch because like this is probably some of the best television there is, right? But I don't want to be really sad, right?
You just don't watch the last season. I mean, Dexter's like that too. Dexter's last season was bad, and the show itself is really good.
Oh,
well, the last episode's bad, I guess. But like so that season 4 of Dexter is top television. Like that's incredible.
I've seen the first couple seasons of Dexter. I don't know where I cut off, but I had seen a good amount of it. I know Breaking Bad is like one of the most consistently like
they stuck the landing.
Oh my god. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this stretch of television.
I wish I knew more about TV and stuff, because I always see like people online being like critical of television and movies, and I always think it's so interesting, but like I watch stuff as a dumb guy, and I'm just like, dude, I like no matter what I'm watching, I suspend disbelief. Like it's so easy for me. I don't get distracted. One
of the most disappointing parts of my like using this website was realizing that like some of my favorite TV shows of all time are just like fucking mid. Like just like I spent this whole series locked in.
You're Tim Robinson in the courtroom. What the hell?
Like I love Criminal Minds, and people are just like, oh yeah, Criminal Minds. It's you know, let me see. Criminal Minds. Let's take a look. Criminal Minds. Everyone's like, yeah, it's fine. It's just mid. God damn it.
It's still above average. Like Yellow is good. Yellow doesn't mean bad. It means it's good. Like,
yeah, I guess. Have you heard of Heated Rivalry, Sam?
I've heard about this. Yeah, I'm surprised it's doing so well because the way the Will episode of Stranger Things is.
Look at this though. People fucking love it. This is the highest that I have seen, the highest average rated TV show on the whole platform, 9.6.
What is that on?
HBO, as you can imagine.
I do.
Maybe as you would guess. I think I'm gonna watch it at some point. What's your favorite TV show of all time, Sam? Let's see how you
favorite TV show of all time.
Would you have said Stranger Things before?
I don't know. I think I just like sitcoms. Like I really like Seinfeld. I like Curb. Like though, but like I think Stranger Things is a good show. I like was sad that it was ending.
Seinfeld rated well. Okay,
it's a great show. It's hilarious. It holds up.
Curb also rated well.
Curb's an incredible show. Like Curb, like it's just funny. Like it's funny things. It's like the kind like me getting mad at the Patriots stuff at the Celtics games. This is not real. Like like this is a skit show. It's not. There's no plot or anything. But
I know.
Me getting mad at like the jerseys at the Celtics game is like a Curb thing. Like that would be an episode of Curb. It's like this isn't even like where you're supposed to wear these. People care more. Like it's just like a me thing that I get mad about. I do have more rat lists though because it's been so long.
Please.
LeBron is supposed to start wearing this 23rd seasons patch now on his jersey for the record or the rest of this season. Does this mean he's retiring? I hope so. Like, why else would they be like surprised? Like LeBron's going to start wearing this 23rd season patch on his jersey, unless they were like, how can we like have a LeBron like celebration?
Because it's a record. Because he set a record for most seasons.
It was a record in October.
They didn't think of it then.
That's why this is dumb. Like if they did it in October, I'd be like, this is dumb, but like at least I could understand it. Like you could say it's because he's setting a record, and I'd have to be like, okay, sure. But like he didn't just set the record this week.
No, but like you don't get it.
Again, like I always see people online that are like, you're gonna miss him when he's gone. It's like, no, I'm not. Like I will not miss him at all.
I don't really care. LeBron
you don't
hasn't
have
really
to care.
been like no, not even about your hatred, like about LeBron in general. Like I don't really care about LeBron. Like he's become irrelevant to me in the basketball world. Like he's just not. That. I don't really care.
That's like the meanest thing you can say.
Well, like he's good.
If you told LeBron you don't care about him, like that would probably hurt him. Like he probably doesn't care when people hate him, but if you don't care,
He's playing fine this year. He's a good player, but he's no different. Like, he's not a top 5 player. He's probably not a top 10 player. Like, he's
Might
just a
even be
really good
overpaid.
basketball player. Yeah. Jaylen Brown's better than LeBron now by a lot. LeBron's better. Luka's better than LeBron. Giannis is better than LeBron. Shea, Tatum, Ant, Donovan Mitchell's better. Like, he's just not like he's fine. He's just fine.
To his credit, I think LeBron has like the right mindset where he through his career has always been a make the right play guy to a fault, like where people are like, he doesn't want to take the last shot enough, but like he's not really like he is an egotistical guy off the court, but I don't think he plays the game that way. Like ironically, he's able to separate his me personality from that.
Yeah.
But like he is the perfect old washed guy that's just going to do what's asked of him.
He's taken the fewest shots of his career this year.
Yeah. Like it's not like Kobe. Like when Kobe was old, I said Kobe. When Kobe was old, like he was just gonna be Kobe. That's just how it was.
He was always gonna be Kobe. Yeah, he was taking shots. He was taking shots until the day he left. This is true. Okay, yeah, I don't have anything else. I don't think I have any other rattlers. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's inevitably stuff that I was mad at, so I can think quickly, but yeah, I don't nothing off the top of my head. Drivers piss me off constantly, but that's more I have to experience that
perpetual one.
Yeah, I've got to experience that on the day that I do the rattlers.
You turn the car on and your blood pressure goes up.
Yes. Well, people drive. Yeah.
Friend of mine and I are like beefing, but it's like a one-sided beef. Like I've let it go, but he's upset still. So I told you about this in person, but I'll do it on the show. A friend of mine. Well, let me explain this. So there was movement to have like a get together yesterday for the Patriots game. And I was like, I'll go. Like in my head, I was like, I'm gonna go because I don't really get to see all my friends that much, like together.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody pitches the plan in the group chat. It's like, hey, what if we all did something for the Patriots game? And I'll read the messages verbatim, so I'm not being unfair because I reacted to this unfairly at the time. I did. He more or less said, I'm not sure if I can go, but it was, oh man, everybody was texting the chat yesterday. It's be hard to actually find this. Usually this group chat's like not a live thing.
Yeah, usually it's dead. But
more or less, it was like, I'm not going to commit to it. If we get enough people, maybe I'll come. Right. Yeah. And with that, I get it. But at the same time, it doesn't really help when you're trying to get plans off the ground and like the first response to the plans is kind of like knocking it dead. Like, or being like, I don't really think that I care about this. And if you guys decide to do it, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. I'm sorry. I cannot find this. Let's just go off that. Let's just say that was the gist of it. Right. And there's another thing about this where this person does not really participate in making plans unless it benefits them directly. So I complained on this show about the lack of energy towards putting together our Friendsgiving, putting together our Secret Santa. It was very hard to do. It's always hard to do because there's so many people. And to get everyone on the same page and everyone to have work off, we have to plan early. When I tried to plan it early, I was met with ridicule. I've held a chip on my shoulder about that. When New Year's came around, this person was fearful that he may have to go and participate in a girlfriend activity on New Year's instead of getting to do what he would like to do. Mm-hmm. So 3 different times he messaged the chat and was like, got to get something planned for New Year's. Got to get something planned for New Year's. Only then he's like, man, we should all get together, guys. It'd be great to see the fellas. Yeah. Other than that, he was like, what do you want from me? I voted in the poll. Like, thanks, man. You voted in our group chat poll that I set up to try and get dates for the events. Here's your Purple Heart of service. Thank you. But anyways, I snapped at him that day a little bit and was sarcastic. And I was like, well, you only really want to, I said, like, you only want to do stuff when your girlfriend might want you to do something that you don't want to do. Blah, blah, blah. And then I kind of wanted to. I was like, you know what? Like, that was an unfair response. You didn't really say what I read it as. And like, my bad. But he's been like sniping at me all week, like pissed off. Like somebody said they weren't they were leaning towards going to a plan, but they weren't certain. He was like, Sam, come in and tell him he can't do it. I was like, what do you mean? He didn't respond right away. He waited till he thought that he had a good answer, and like, tip of the cap to him, he did it right. Like, just the continuous snipes is annoying. And he was complaining about it on Saturday. It's something I wasn't at. I don't really care. I'm past it, but it's just been a ridiculous that I was right and I didn't handle it right. So now I can't be right. So I'm more mad at myself.
Yes. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Listen, like, I've responded to plans being like, I'll only respond in that way if I don't know if I can go, not if I don't know if I want to go. Like, I'll be like, oh, like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be back from this place yet. Like, I'll be there if I can be. And if not, then like, I won't be. But like, don't take me into account for the plans. Like, I'd love to be there, but I can't.
Well,
but
you also can just be like, I don't know if I can make it, or I can't
exactly
make it, but it sounds like fun. I hope everybody has fun. That
exactly
way you're not stomping out the fire.
That's what I usually say. I'm like, I'll be there if I can, but like, I don't know if the timing will work out. But like, or if I can't go, I'll be like, oh, I don't think I can be there. It's never like, I don't think I would ever say, I don't know if I want to go. That's never something I would express.
Just won't respond
to the people. Exactly. Like, I'm not gonna say that out loud. I did think of another rat list since this though. So I made a Jaylen Brown video about the fouls that he was complaining about in the Spurs game.
Go watch it.
It's so funny to see the difference in reaction from platform to platform. Like, Twitter's pretty mixed. Like, obviously Celtics fans are going to agree and the Spurs fans are going to want me to die, and that's fine, right? TikTok was very positive. Like, everyone was like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then YouTube is a lot of like, oh my God, look at this guy crying. And I'm like, so you just didn't watch the video. So you didn't understand what the point of this was.
How many views are you up to on YouTube? Let me look.
10.
Because I saw it was doing well yesterday.
It did well.
Yeah,
and a lot of the comments are like people crying, which is hilarious. And some of it's like, this is good. But so a lot of it is like crying.
I see. I figured on YouTube you would get a lot of positive stuff.
There is positive.
It's your YouTube channel, so like I guess algorithm will feed this to people, but like I feel like a lot of people would just like know you and be like, "This is cool."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a funny thing to see. Somebody commented while we're waiting because I said I pulled the clips, and I was like, "What are you waiting for?" Did you not watch the video where I did exactly what I said I did, or are you mocking me, or like I don't understand what your comment means. I don't think you understand what happened here. Like, I think you're really confused, and I'm not sure how you could have possibly been confused. But anyways, that was an interesting like social experiment, seeing people on different platforms, or maybe it just reached a different audience on YouTube than it did in other places. But anyways, yeah.
That can be it. We went an hour and we haven't even done the
this is gonna be long. This is gonna be a long one.
So we actually did every podcast recording that we didn't do for the last week and a half in this one. So we delivered. If you missed us, here you go.
All right. Well, appreciate you for tuning in. We didn't even have the emails. Imagine if we had emails.
Yeah, it's true. We didn't. Yeah.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Leave a like, subscribe. I'll let Sam take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're here every single day with new stuff. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us streaming pregame live a half hour before every single game. We've been going live with special guests this year every time. Nick NBA has been a staple. He's almost not even a guest anymore. But we've always got somebody for you. So it's a lot of fun. Come hang out for it. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are there. So if you just want those, follow. They will go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. I read them every single time we do the show. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.